I'm too busy sitting here yelling at Patrick Tuohey. He's yelling at me as we get it going on KCMO Talk Radio. We're going back and forth on these properties and what to do about these Airbnbs. And Patrick's trying to talk me into his libertarian nonsense about how great Airbnbs are in neighborhoods and, you know, you guys looking for the government to save you and the whole thing. I don't want to hear it, Patrick. Stop.
I have had too much coffee.
Yeah, I can tell. He's all hyped up this morning from the Show Me Institute. I don't know what they put in the coffee there for you guys, but I'm getting an earful from him over the last 7-8 minutes on this. Unbelievable. How are you?
I'm doing great, thanks. And can I tell you, I am 52 years old. I still get excited about coming on the radio. I still have trouble sleeping. I still wake up too early. Like, I love this. So thank you for having me.
Oh, I love having you. I wish every guest felt that way.
Nobody doesn't like being on the air.
Yeah. No, that's we kind of lucked into this whole deal. You're right. 4 hours every day. But that is a good point. And thank you for saying that, because sometimes we take advantage of it, doing 16 segments a day. It's just kind of what we do.
Sure.
But it's nice to hear that. So thanks for sharing that. You have bailed yourself out of all the nonsense I heard you spew the last 5 minutes about Airbnbs and how great they are and how the free market's going to work out and the whole thing. All right, give me your, before we get to the ballpark stuff, I'll let you give a 30 to 60 second pitch on why Airbnbs in residential neighborhoods should be allowed.
I want people to get excited again about the free market, about individuals using property to its best use. Now, yes, communities are going to change over time as development happens. It's true in downtown Kansas City throughout our history. The city grew as values increased and people wanted to live there. Then what happened was we kind of locked development in place. Land downtown became too expensive because we wouldn't let people do what they would have done with it on their own. And so people moved out to the suburbs. And now in the suburbs, we're doing the same thing. We don't turn, as conservatives or libertarians, we don't like people turning to the government to protect their investment in any other part of the market. Yet somehow we think because we bought a house that the government owes us that community should be frozen in place forever and that we should have a veto on what other people do with their property. It's not conservative. It's not libertarian. I understand. I absolutely understand. I live in a house. I live in a community. But when we start appealing to the government because we think we are owed a return on our investment, we are headed down the wrong path.
But are we appealing to the government, or am I just saying, hey, or anyone just saying, you buy an R1 neighborhood, you expect it to be R1. And if you're not going to maintain R1, then just get rid of all standards.
I would absolutely get rid of zoning. I think zoning is a scar on development. It's and we will talk about this another time.
Yeah, this is a whole nother topic. But anyway.
But its origin was absolutely racist and classist. It's an ugly stain on development in America, and we can do much better.
Okay, so that's where we'll agree. If there's an answer here, getting rid of all zoning is the answer. But as long as zoning exists, it's not unreasonable for me to say, I buy into an R1, it should stay R1.
Be better. Be better than that, Pete.
I would totally agree. Patrick Tuohey needs to be better. You know, we'll put a couple of Airbnbs next to him and see how he feels. How
Wonderful.
about that?
Thank you.
All right. You going to have two little girls running around the neighborhood
I
with
had
Airbnbs next door?
People to buy cookies.
You're a father of daughters. I know how you got 3, right?
That's right.
All right. I've got a third one coming this weekend, by the way. So
exciting.
I'm going to need your advice off the air on that because, boy, a lot of noise.
It's wonderful.
A lot of emotion.
Yes. Yeah, it's all those things, and it's the best thing that'll ever happen to you.
I love that. All right. Take me through these stadiums right now. Today, the Chiefs are going to announce at 10 o'clock their upgrade plans for Arrowhead. Yeah. They want everyone to go out on April 2nd, vote yes on this 3/8 cent sales tax extension. Where are you at right now?
Oh, I still am super skeptical. What happens in Kansas City, and Kansas City isn't unique, is we get all these renderings, right? These artistic renderings. They all look alike. We get it of the airport. We get it of a downtown hotel. We know from experience that what they build never looks like the renderings, but it is the sizzle. And I want Kansas Cityans to focus on the steak. You're being asked to part with your own money so that billionaires can spend on their hobbies. Now, maybe the renderings released today, maybe the plans today are exciting, maybe it's wonderful. I don't care. My point is taxpayers ought not to be paying for it.
Okay, so the Royals and the Chiefs, they put out this commercial last night. I don't know if you saw it, but they're talking about the jobs and the development, and it's no new taxes. And you say what?
It's all wrong. It is all wrong. It is universal. The economic research on these things show that there is no benefit, no economic benefit to a stadium, no matter where you place it. that the jobs in construction are minimal. By and large, communities are hurt by this type of stuff because what we are doing is reaching into the pockets of taxpayers to pay for things that private business could absolutely do on its own. And even if they did do it on its own, there isn't necessarily a return for the community in which they operate. What happens here is that people get all excited. They're proud of their team. They're proud of the prospects. And so we end up voting kind of like for a party, for a team. But the economics are very clear. There is no benefit to taxpayer of any of this.
Is there a benefit to Kansas City as a region to have a football team that has won 3 Super Bowls and has gotten global attention over the last half a decade?
I don't know. Is anyone moving here because we have a good football team? Is anyone saying, I'm looking at a map of where to live in the country and, gosh, Kansas City is doing well, so I'll go there. Is any business making plans on that? I honestly don't know that there's any research to show that. Now, the mayor, the county executive may say, we're proud of our team, and so we want to spend $1 billion to feel good about ourselves. Now, that's an ad I would love to see, but it's an honest argument. But the claims that it's going to do anything for taxpayers are completely wrong.
What about the argument? And it's not an argument I've made, but I've understood this, and I've made this case of the 2 options for the Royals: the East Village and the Crossroads. I've said that, hey, the Crossroads at least makes sense because right now the city is subsidizing power and light to the tune of like $20 million a year. It still doesn't make any money.
Right.
If this helps power and light and it helps take some of that burden off the taxpayer, could that be a potential benefit for that downtown Kansas City area where the city has to subsidize power and light less?
No, look, we are never going to have to subsidize power and light less. I mean, Troy Schulte, who was
city manager.
Thank you. Yeah. City manager at the time said we'd have to have like Christmas level shopping every weekend to make up for the losses, to cover the losses. Again, John Sherman can put the stadium wherever he wants to with his own money. And if Cordish says, hey, put it here, and so we can have some sort of synergy between the 2 places, that's wonderful. Maybe they'll invest. I understand they are investing. But again, private business, he owns the company. Let him do it with his own dime. Why come to taxpayers? We have no business being involved in this.
Here's the thing. I always wonder this. We say these guys are billionaires, but do they, I don't know about John Sherman in particular, do they have the kind of money to build a $2 billion complex?
Yes, they do.
They do?
They can go to investors.
They can access the capital.
Yeah, look, he says, I'm building a big baseball park. Investors might say, well, you only have so many games there a year. He's like, look, I'm putting in bars. I'm putting on restaurants. I'm putting in commercial. This is the profit I will see. Like, this is how business works, right? You go to investors. If you can get money, it's a good idea. If you can't, it's a bad idea. What happens with these projects in Kansas City is basically they come to you and say, I've got a really bad idea. But if taxpayers will kick in $1 billion, it becomes a good idea for me and my private investors. So why are we building bad ideas? That's all we're doing when we subsidize these projects. We're building bad ideas.
What do you do when you know this stuff happens all over the country? And someone on this show, might have been you, said that this all started with the Texas Rangers going back about 25, 30 years when they built the ballpark in Arlington. That was kind of the first rendition of these, taxpayer-funded stadiums. And now, like after 20, 25 years, people are already talking about the next one. What do you do when it's so prevalent all over the country and you know that other cities will gobble up teams if they don't get what they want where they are? We see the Diamondbacks owner down in Phoenix. He's already been like, well, if I don't get what I want, a lot of cities want us. I agree with you in principle, but what do you do then in that scenario?
You have some self-respect. You say, we are a city. We are a great city. We've been a great fan base for you, and you're going to stay here because we're a good market. We're not going to lower ourselves. We're not going to scrape and bow. We're not going to pretend that somehow we owe you anything. We've provided you all that you need, and you're going to build here because we're a good partner. What we're not going to do is lower ourselves and pay you to love us? What the hell? And here's another thing that bothers me about this whole campaign. The pro side, the committee name is something like Committee to Keep the Royals and the Chiefs in Kansas City. Have the Royals and Chiefs explicitly said, if this fails, we will leave? Because I want them to say that explicitly. The threat is there in the committee name.
Yeah, the threat's there in the name.
The threat's there in the name. Man up. Tell us exactly where we stand. If you don't give me money, I'm going to leave. That would be that would be the right thing to do, but instead it's this vague threat. Again, today we're going to see pretty drawings. We don't even have a contract with the Royals and the Chiefs. They haven't signed lease extensions, yet we're being asked to give up money. It's embarrassing, frankly.
Well, you must have been a tough guy to date back in the day. And they'll say, hey, listen, this is just an extension of what's in place. There's you're hearing the no new taxes.
Yeah,
you're not
it is
buying
absolutely a new tax. Look at the ordinance that Jackson County passes. It calls it a new levy. Now, I understand from a campaign point of view, they want to call it an extension because maybe people are less likely to vote for a new tax. But that is political messaging. If you call it an extension, you are engaged in political messaging. The fact is, this is a new tax. That's why we have an ordinance in the county, and that's why we're being asked to vote. But again, too often, these guys roll in with a whole bunch of money. We are going to get a lot of postcards in the mail in Kansas City and Jackson County, and they're all going to contain lies.
All right. On that note, strong takes from Patrick Tuohey on KCMO with the Show Me Institute. The coffee is fired up there this morning. You guys are doing well there at the Show Me Institute. Nice job.
Thank you.